Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel guys. This video is very important. Today we solve the image based question and answer related to orthodontist. So it's a very important part which comes directly into your NEET MDS and also important for UPPSC. Okay, so let's solve the questions of orthodontist, image based question of orthodontist. So first question is identify the following clasp, and your option is crozet clasp, Schwartz clasp, delta clasp and triangular clasp. Okay, so the right answer is option B here. It says Schwartz clasp. If you remember in orthodontist we read about the clasp. So Schwartz clasp are also known as arrowhead clasp. Okay, or it is a one of the type of Adam clasp. Okay, so the right answer is option B. Now come to the next question. Identify the following clasp again. So you can see carefully image, so you can solve answer as much as you can do. And your option is crozet clasp, Schwartz clasp, delta clasp and triangular clasp. As we already solved the Schwartz clasp in previous diagram or picture, so you can remember that that diagram. So obviously this is not the answer. Okay, so the next options are option D is the right answer. It is a basically triangular clasp here. Triangular clasp, the role of clasp is basically for retention. Okay, so the purpose of clasp is always retention. The function of clasp is retention. So basically it's engaged into the proximal undercut. So you can remember by this diagram. It's if you can see, it's engaged proximal undercuts. Okay, the right answer is option D. It is a triangular clasp. Now come to the next question. Identify the following again: Adam with helix, Adam with J hook, Adam with single arrowhead and Adam with distal extension. So as you think about that diagram, and if you saw, this is a kind of J hook. Okay, so here the right answer is Adam with J hook. Option B is the right answer. Okay, it is one of the modification of Adam clasp, remember, where J hook is soldered on the bridge of Adam clasp. So basically it is a simple Adam clasp where the J hook bridge is just placed or shouldered over it. Okay, and it is used to engage elastic. Okay, so here the function is to engage elastic for what purpose? Again for the retention purpose. Okay, now come to the next question. The next question is identify the following clasp again, and your option is crozet clasp, Schwartz clasp, delta clasp and triangular clasp. Here the right answer is option A. It is nothing but the crozet clasp. Okay, now come to the next question. Name the component. Name the component, and your option is crozet clasp, Schwartz clasp, T-spring and triangular clasp. What do you think the right answer? The right answer is option C. It is nothing but the T-spring. Okay, it consists of T shape. So if you see, this is a kind of T shape like this, and which brings about buccal movement of premolar and canine. So if they ask the function, you can remember what is the function of T clasp here or T spring here. Buccal movement we used for the buccal movement of premolars and canines. Okay, so the right answer is option C, T spring. Now come to the next question. Identify the following separators here, and your options are dumbbell separators, castling separators, brass wire separators and elastic separator. The right answer is option B here, castling separators. Okay, castling separators are very important. It contains a coil and two arms. Okay, it contains a one coil. If you see the image, if I zoom it, this is coil and this is basically a two arms. Okay, and it's used to separate the contact area. Okay, it's basically, what are the function of this? To use to separate the contact area. The short arm is placed below the contact area and longer arm above the contact area. Okay, castling separator spring is activated by opening up the coil. So if you activated this, just open the coil. Okay, so castling separators are very important question. Again, please note it. Okay, now come to the next question. The next question is identify the following separators. Okay, again this is a kind of separator, and your options are dumbbell separator, Kesselring separator, brass wire separator, and elastomeric ring. So if you remember previous question, obviously this is not a Kesselring separators, and it is a very common springs which are used in orthodontist on daily basis. Okay, so it is nothing but the elastomeric ring. Okay, elastomeric ring are what are they? They are the small elastic rings that are passed through the contact. Okay, the stretch elastic ring encircle the interdental contact area and separate it. Okay, so it is a elastomeric ring. Okay, now come to the next question. Again, very important question. The myofunctional appliance shown in the below picture is used in treatment of. It is a myofunctional appliance. Okay, and for what purpose it is used? For class 3 malocclusion, for class 2 malocclusion, for class 1 malocclusion, or class 1 bimax malocclusion. The right answer is here is option A, class 3 malocclusion. This myofunctional we use in class 3 malocclusion. Okay, so the appliance is chin cup basically. Okay, this is a chin cup or chin cap. It is indicated in class 3 malocclusion, subject to restrict forward and downward growth of mandible. So basically it's control the forward and downward growth of mandible. So we used in this device in class 3 malocclusion. Option A is the right answer. Okay, now come to the next question. Identify the following appliance. Again, there is a appliance, and it's a kind of also myofunctional appliance, and your option is Delaire face mask, Petit face mask, tubular face mask, and none of the above. The right answer is it is a Petit type or modified Delaire face mask. Okay, so option B, Petit face mask, is the right answer here. Basically it also contains chin cup and forehead cap. Two caps it contains. It is a chin cap or forehead cap. Okay, with a single rod running in the midline. You can see clearly single rod in the midline. Okay, so it is a Petit face mask. Okay, now come to the next question. Next question is identify the appliance. Okay, now your option is option A, posterior bite plane. Option B is Kesselring tooth positioner. Option C is anterior bite plane, and option D is none of the above. The right answer is it is nothing but the Kesselring tooth positioner. Okay, option B is the right answer. Now come to the next question. Identify the facial divergence. Anterior facial divergence, a straight facial divergence. Option C is posterior facial divergence, and option D is none of the above. What do you think the right answer? The right answer is it is nothing but anterior facial divergence. Option A is the right answer. Okay, facial divergence. What is facial divergence? It is defined as the inclination of lower face relative to forehead. Anterior divergence is appreciated when a line drawn between forehead and chin is inclined anteriorly. So it is nothing but the anterior facial divergence. Okay, now come to the next question. Identify the facial divergence. Again, so facial divergence comes again and again. It's an important question obviously. So here the right answer is, the options we can see firstly, the option A is anterior facial divergence, B is straight facial, then option C is posterior facial divergence, and option D is none of the above. The right answer is here posterior divergence is appreciated when a line drawn between forehead and chin is inclined posteriorly. So here you can see line drawn is inclined posteriorly. Okay, and here you can see in this picture line drawn is inclined anteriorly. That's why the right answer is anterior facial divergence, and here the line is going into the posterior inclination. So here the right answer is option C. It's nothing but posterior facial divergence. Okay, so facial divergence is a kind of important questions. Now come to the next question. Identify the facial divergence again guys. Okay, now two kind of divergence I already explained to you, so you better to solve. Your option is option A, anterior facial divergence. Option B is straight. option C is posterior facial divergence, and option D is none of the above. The right answer is here. You can see, if I zoom it for you, you can see clearly it's nothing but straight divergence. The option B is the right answer, because if anteriorly it can goes like this, if posteriorly it can goes like this, and it goes here in a straight way. So the right answer is option B, straight facial divergence is the right answer. Okay, now come to the next question. Identify the appliance and the angulation between both the acrylic blocks. Okay, now your option is twin block appliance 45 degree, twin block appliance 60 degree, twin block appliance 70 degree, and twin block appliance 80 degree. What do you think the right answer? The right answer is twin block appliance is again myofunctional appliance, if you can remember, and here the right answer is option C, twin block appliance 70 degree. Okay, it is given by clerk, also important. This is from exam point of view. Okay, so if the patient has a severe distal occlusion or has difficulty in maintaining a forward posture, the angulation is reduced to 45. But normally if we say, the right answer here is 70 degree. Okay, because during evolution of the technique, the angulation of the inclined plane varied from 90 to 45 degree to occlusal plane, so before arriving at an angle of 70 degree. Okay, here the right answer is 70 degree. Option C is the right answer. Now come to the next question. Identify the appliance and the retentive component. Your option is option A, twin block delta clasp, option B, twin block Adam clasp, option C, activator delta clasp, and option D is activator Adam clasp. The right answer is option A. It's nothing but twin block delta clasp. Again remember, upper plate is retained by special arrowhead clasp named as delta clasp. Okay, so the same explanation which I give you for twin block, okay, it's go with this answer. Okay, nothing with twin block a delta clasp. In twin block we always place along with the delta clasp. Okay, now come to the next question. Identify the facial profile. Okay, so it's a very important for diagnostic purpose also, for clinical point of view also, or for exam point of view also, or for viva perspective also. Okay, so what do you think the facial profile is? Either convex profile, concave, straight, or none of the above. The right answer is option A is the right answer. Okay, option A, it is nothing but the convex profile. Okay, facial profile is obtained by a line joining the forehead and soft tissue point A, and a line joining point A and soft tissue pogonian. Okay, so point A to pogonian we always see the profile, facial profile, and it is nothing. If they form the concavity facing the tissue, then the profile is convex, which is seen in class 2 div 1 malocclusion. So basically the convex profile you can easily see in class 2 div 1 type of malocclusion. So here the option A is the right answer. Now come to the next question. Again identify the facial profile. Means facial profile again becoming the important questions once again in NEET point of view. Okay, and your option is convex, concave, straight, and none of the above. Okay, the right answer is here option B, obviously, because we can see the convex profile how it look like, and now we can easily see how we compare it. If we compare the convex and concave, obviously they are totally different in perspective of each other, right? So here the right answer is option B. It's nothing but the concave profile. Okay, now come to the next question. Identify the facial profile. Okay, identify the facial profile. Again I think you already know the answer. Here the options are convex profile, concave profile, is straight, and none of the above. It's going straight, so I don't think so I need to be explained here. It's a straight profile. Okay, so this three kind of profile are very important in orthodontics. Okay, so be remember guys. Okay, now come to the next question. The amount force required in the condition shown below is, okay. So what do you think the condition here? If we see, this is a upper central incisor and it little bit of as compared to their adjacent tooth, it's little bit extrude there, right? So it extruded there, means there is a extrusion case of central incisor is seen here. Okay, and the question is the amount of force required in the condition shown below. So what kind of force required here? Option A is 50-75 grams, option B is 15-25 grams, 25-50 and 75-100 grams. The right answer is the amount of force required for intrusion of tooth is 15-25 grams, but for the intrusion, not for the extrusion. Here they ask here they can depict the picture of extrusion. Okay, so the right answer is option A here. 50 to 75 grams force we need for the extrusion and 15 to 25 we need for the intrusion. Okay, so both are the important question. Be remember guys. Okay, now come to the next question. The amount of force required for the following condition. As I already give you the answer in previous question, sorry, you can easily solve this question very easily. Again the same example, but this time not extruded, this time it is a condition of intrusion guys. Okay, the central incisor is little bit, not little bit, more of it, 3/4 of it, you can say that intrusion of central incisor is seen here. So again they ask about the force required for the condition. So here the right answer is option A, 15-25 grams need for the intrusion purpose. Okay, so option A is the right answer. Now come to the next question. Identify the imaginary occlusal plane. Okay, what kind of plane you can see here? Curve of Spee, curve of Wilson, curve of Pleasure and curve of Monsoon. So if you heard about this all kind of curve, you can easily solve this question. Okay, the right answer is nothing but the curve of Spee here guys. Option A is the right answer, because curve of Spee refers to anterior-posterior curvature of occlusal surfaces beginning at the tip of lower cuspid and following the tip of bicuspid and molars continuing in an arc of condyle. And if the curve is extended, it would form a circle of 4 inch in diameter. Okay, so here if we see the this is nothing but the curve of Spee, because it starts from the lower canine. Okay, lower surfaces of canine, and then it go anterior posterior curvature and follow the occlusal surfaces. Okay, so basically the right answer is option A is the right answer. Now come to the next question. Next question is identify the imaginary occlusal plane. Again you can see this question many times in exam. Okay, this is curve of Spee, curve of Wilson, curve of Pleasure and curve of Monsoon. So in detail, in theoretical point of view, you can understand this question easily if you go through it in each and every curve. Okay, I am not able to explaining each and every curve right now, because we are solving that question. Okay, so you go through that, but here the right answer is option B. It is nothing but the curve of Wilson. Okay, curve of Wilson is the right answer here, that contact buccal and lingual cusp tip of mandibular buccal teeth. It result from inward inclination of lower posterior teeth. So but it's nothing but the curve of Wilson. Okay, and it's you can see easily for buccal and lingual cusp tip of mandibular buccal teeth. Okay, now come to the next question. The below given trajectories are given by. Okay, here are many options like Banner vertical trajectories, Banner horizontal, then Baninhoff vertical trajectories and Baninhoff horizontal trajectories. The right answer is here option C is the right answer. It is nothing but the Baninhoff vertical trajectories. Okay, now come to the next question. This phenomena is seen during, you can easily see that it's a ugly duckling stage. If you remember and if you know about the ugly duckling stage, you can easily solve this question. And the spheromia, the option is option A, premolars are erupting, incisors are erupting, canines are erupting, and none of the above. See, easily you can see this is a central incisors and this is a pair of lateral incisors, and obviously this is canine which are going to be erupting next. So here the right answer is nothing but the option C is the right answer. The canines are erupting, and this stage we call the ugly duckling stage, and it's also called a self-correcting malocclusion. Okay, because it's an important question, that's why I'm explaining to you. It's called a self-correcting malocclusion. It also called a transient malocclusion, seen where we can see in maxillary incisor we can see. Okay, and what age it's see, we can see easily ugly duckling stage in a patient who age 8 to 9 years. Okay, 8 to 9 years, and this condition is seen during eruption of canines which displace the roots of lateral incisor, resulting in midline diastema occurs. Okay, and this whole phenomena is called broadband phenomena. So again, what kind of phenomena it is asked many times in an exam, so it is nothing but the broadband phenomena. So this is a part 1 of orthodontics appliances and orthodontics image based question and answer, and hope you like the video, guys. Please follow for more, because the second video or second part of it is coming tomorrow.